Listen to a short story, The Snowy Morning, by Oxford Reading University. Level B1.
It had been snowing all night in the small town of Maple Hill. By morning, the snow was thick and white, covering the roads, cars, and houses. The streets looked like a winter postcard, but there was a problem. The garbage truck could not pass through the street to collect the bins. The snow was too deep, and the truck's tires could not move. At 7 a.m., Mr. Davis, who lived on the corner, opened his door and looked outside. The cold wind made him shiver, and the sight of the unplowed street made him frown. "This is terrible," he muttered. He reached for his phone and checked the town's social media page. "Why hasn't the road been cleared yet?" wrote Mrs. Clark. "This is unacceptable," added Mr. Harris. "Do your job, town services," someone else posted angrily. Mr. Davis shook his head. "What are we paying taxes for?" he grumbled and closed the door. He had no intention of going out to clear the snow. The town should handle this, he thought. At 8 a.m., Laura Parker, a young woman who lived in the small yellow house, decided she had waited long enough. She put on her big coat, wrapped a scarf around her neck, and pulled on warm gloves. Grabbing her red shovel, she stepped outside into the cold. The snow was heavy and wet, and her breath made little clouds in the air. She looked at the road and sighed. "If nobody else will do it, I will," she said to herself. She started shoveling a path through the thick snow. It was hard work, but she didn't stop. At 8:15 a.m., Mr. Davis peeked out of his window. He saw Laura, alone, shoveling snow. For a moment, he thought about going back to his coffee, but then a wave of guilt hit him. "She shouldn't be doing this alone," he said to himself. He put on his coat, found his old shovel in the garage, and stepped outside. "Good morning, Laura," he said with a small smile. "Let me help." "Thank you, Mr. Davis," Laura said, surprised but happy. By 8:30 a.m., Mr. Harris, who lived across the street, noticed them. He stood by his window, watching the two of them work. His wife called from the kitchen. "Aren't you going to do something?" "I suppose I should," he said, grabbing his shovel. He walked outside and joined them. "Good morning. Looks like we've got a big job ahead," he said. "Thanks for helping," Laura said. "We're making progress." The sound of shovels scraping against the pavement echoed through the quiet street. At 9 a.m., Mr. Lee, who owned the bakery, stepped out of his shop to take out the trash. He saw the group clearing the road and decided to help. He returned with his wide shovel, perfect for moving large piles of snow. "I can't let you do this alone," he said. The group kept growing. Mrs. Clark, who had written the first angry post, came out with her coat and gloves. Even the teenagers from across the street, who rarely left their video games, grabbed small shovels and joined in. The quiet street was now full of people working together. "Teamwork makes the dream work," one of the teens joked, making everyone laugh. By 10 a.m., the road was finally clear enough for the garbage truck to pass. When the truck arrived, the workers waved and honked the horn in thanks. The neighbors cheered, proud of what they had accomplished together. Laura leaned on her shovel, breathing hard, but smiling. "It's amazing what we can do when we all work together," she said. The others nodded in agreement. Mr. Davis even offered to make hot cocoa for everyone at his house.
Send this video to a friend who loves English audiobooks. And now, listen to another awesome story.